Forget the blockbusters. Brad Pitt just pulled off one of the most unexpected movie moves of the year. And it happened in a film you've probably never even heard of. Yep, Brad Pitt, Mr. Fight Club himself, just casually showed up in a tiny indie movie. And people are losing their minds. Now picture this. You're in a small theater watching some low-budget indie flick, the kind with quirky dialogue and moody lighting. You're munching popcorn, probably scrolling your phone during the slow parts. And then, bam! Brad Pitt pops up on screen. No fanfare, no build-up. Just Brad Pitt right there like he wandered in by accident. The audience? Shocked. Some people literally said out loud, "Wait, is that Brad Pitt?" Phones came out, tweets went flying, and suddenly this little indie film that almost no one had on their radar is trending worldwide. So let's talk about why this cameo matters. Because yeah, it's fun to see Brad Pitt show up randomly, but it's bigger than that. This is star power at work. Brad Pitt didn't just act in a scene. He gave this indie movie a golden ticket. Every news site picked up the story. Clips blew up on TikTok and Instagram. Film festivals that might have passed are suddenly begging to screen it. Distributors? Oh, now they're circling like sharks. And the filmmakers? They basically won the Hollywood lottery. But why would Brad Pitt even do this? He's an A-lister, he doesn't need indie cred. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. It shows that he cares about more than just blockbusters. He's making a statement. Small stories deserve big attention too. And this raises a bigger question. Are we about to see a new trend here? Could more Hollywood stars start lending themselves to indie films? Think about it. Imagine Leonardo DiCaprio showing up in a $500,000 indie drama as Guy at the Diner. Or Beyoncé making a 2-minute cameo as the neighbor in some art house movie. The internet would break. Indie cinema would never be the same. Of course, there's a flip side. If indie films start depending on A-list cameos, doesn't that kind of kill the whole independent vibe? Like, are they still underdogs if Brad Pitt is hanging out in the background? That's a fair point. But let's be real. Most indie filmmakers would say, yes, please, we'll take the Brad Pitt bump. Here's what makes this so cool, though. Brad Pitt's cameo wasn't just a fun Easter egg. It was a strategy. He turned one little moment into a massive ripple effect that shook the industry. It reminded everyone that star power isn't just about box office numbers. It's about influence, attention, and giving the underdog a fighting chance. And look, Brad Pitt isn't the first celebrity to dabble in indie projects. Plenty of stars have done smaller films to stretch their acting muscles or chase awards. But a secret surprise cameo? That's different. It's playful. It's rebellious. It's like Brad Pitt saying, "Hey, I'm still having fun with this." And that energy is contagious. Now let's zoom out. Hollywood right now is kind of stuck in two worlds. The giant billion-dollar blockbusters and the tiny indie films that most people never hear about. What Brad Pitt just did is blur that line. Suddenly, those worlds don't feel so separate. Suddenly, people who usually skip indies are paying attention. And that's the real magic of this cameo. It wasn't just about him being on screen. It was about opening the door for more eyes, more hype, and maybe even more opportunities for smaller filmmakers who normally wouldn't stand a chance against Marvel or Disney. So what does this mean for the future? Well, it could go a few ways. Maybe this is a one-time surprise and we'll just look back and laugh like, remember that time Brad Pitt randomly showed up in that little movie? Or maybe it's the beginning of something bigger, a trend where Hollywood heavyweights drop in to boost the little guys, changing the way films get discovered. Either way, one thing's clear. Brad Pitt just reminded us why star power still matters. So what do you think? Was this Brad Pitt just having some fun? Or was it a signal that Hollywood is shifting? And seriously, who's the next celebrity you'd love to see crash an indie film? My pick, Ryan Reynolds as sarcastic guy at the laundromat. Imagine the memes. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you love these kinds of breakdowns, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with your movie-loving friends. Because honestly, sometimes the biggest movie moments happen where you least expect them, like Brad Pitt showing up in an indie film.